Hi everyone, Letty here. Today I'm going to share with you another craft with me video where we make some Christmas holiday mini slimline cards that you can do from either 12 by 12 or 6 by 6 paper. So welcome back to my channel everyone. I'm Letty, Party Planner Papery. Today I'm going to be using the Winter Cottage collection by Simple Stories. I believe this came out last year. I will be using those branding strips in just a bit, but I went ahead and just showed you the collection. I basically cut down some paper down to 3 by 6. I used 5 12 by 12 double-sided sheets. You can also use 6 by 6 paper and just cut it in half. That's all you have to do. We're going to be making some mini slimline cards today, and I just wanted to show you my process of how I make them using this very, very pretty collection. So again, you just cut down your paper 3 by 6 in any orientation, either vertical or horizontal. It does not matter. And then I also have some mini slimline card bases. They're 6.5 by 6.25. You basically just fold on the 6.5 inch side and then varnish with your bone folder, and you can make a little mini slimline card base. So I already have some of them prepped, and you'll see here that I did use some 2 by 2 cut aparts that came with the sheet. I backed it on some white cardstock that I had leftover scraps after making my mini slimline card bases. I had that white paper as scraps, so I went ahead and used that. I also used an In Love Art Shop die for this poinsettia, and I went ahead and die cut those to add. I think they turn out beautiful with this holographic paper. That's the holographic paper from Joann's. And then I also used another In Love Art Shop die that's this bow from this set. And if I can find them, I'll link both of them down in the description box below, along with a coupon code for In Love Art Shop. So I have my papers here. I have my card bases, and then I have prepped already some embellishments that will go on each of the cards. So again, I have my die cuts, and then I also have the extra cut aparts that are backed with some white cardstock. So what we'll do is we'll assemble one set of each of the different 5 papers. Again, using this Winter Cottage collection by Simple Stories, we're going to do one set from each one on camera. This is just a quick little sneak peek of what some of the cards are going to look like. And like I said, we will go through and do one set of each of these papers. So rest assured, I will show you how I am making these cards, and we'll do it together on camera. So I think they turned out cute. These are going to be great for some donation cards because they're flat. So one of the big things here is that we're going to be doing a tear down the middle. So we will be tearing the paper and then adding the cut apart and adding the embellishments, the die cuts. So first thing you're going to do is you're going to take that 6 by 6 paper, cut it in half, or take your 12 by 12, cut it down to 3 by 6. We are basically going to have 2 mats. You want the opposite pattern. So you see here I have one turned around, and so I have the front of one and then the back of the other, and then you just tear it down the center just like this. And it's super important that you have the different patterns facing up, so that way you can mix and match. So you see how I'm going to mix one of the flower patterns from the left side with the right side the polka dot pattern here, and it's going to make a perfect alignment. So there's so many videos out there where you can just tear these. I like this option because it actually aligns everything perfectly. So I'm going to, again, just take the 2 pattern papers. Make sure you do not have them facing the same direction. You have to flip one of them, and then you can go ahead and tear down the middle, and you'll get your 2 coordinating sets. So I'm just going to do that with each of these papers and then swap them out. Grab one from the left, one from the right, and we will finish out these torn paper mats. And I have a video that I'll try to link down below where I did something similar to this in a previous video. Okay, so next we're going to take out the mini slimline card bases, which again I've already prepped off camera. I'm going to use my Barely Art wet glue, which I got from barelyart.com. And then I'm going to just carefully glue down my mat. Now here's how I do this. So one side usually has a little bit more of the tear exposed. You see that where the one on the left has more of that exposure. I'm going to glue the one that does not have a lot of exposure down first. And then I'm going to go ahead and carefully glue the other side right on top of it. My camera kind of cut out. Sorry about that, but you basically just glue it down to the card mat. And then you see here that you're just going to go ahead and glue the other one right on top. And because we tore these two sheets together, they're going to align perfectly. And it's going to leave a very small little, and maybe like a 1/8 border all the way around. So that's what that first card mat is going to look like. I'm just going to repeat the same process with the second one. So you see there where the one on the left is more exposed with the tear. I like that look, so I'm going to put that one last. I'm going to glue this other bottom section first. And again, you're going to end up with a small little border all the way around. I think it's about a 1/8 border or something like that, all the way around on the card base here. And so you can see here, now I have my two torn mini slimline cards. Again, one 6x6 sheet will give you 2 mini slimline cards, or you can get 8 cards from one 12x12 sheet. So I'm just going to go ahead and finish gluing the decorations now on these 2 cards, which I've already set aside. I have my cut aparts that are backed with cardstock, and then I have some little embellishments that I'm including, which are just some little like leaf vine things with some poinsettias. And again, the holographic paper that I used is the holographic paper from Joann's. So I'm just going to go ahead and glue these down. And I was watching a video by Biddy Penny, and that's kind of what kind of inspired me, because she was doing a project recently where she was doing, I think it was a sheet load of cards, and she tore them, and it reminded me of how much fun it is to tear the mats. So the way that I tore it was probably a little bit different than the way that she did it. Like I said, I will link a video that I did previously on an additional way that you can tear the card mats. And if I find her video, I'll link her video as well, so you can see the way that she did her cards as well, because she made some mini slimlines as well. So I'm just gluing everything down. Now this video, the process to make these cards is really straightforward. You saw how easy it is to tear the paper, and then you just glue it down. What took a long time were making these embellishments, but isn't it worth it? They're so cute. So I'm just going to go ahead and glue that second one down. But you can take any 12x12 paper pad or any 6x6 paper pad, and you can make cards just like this using this exact same method, where you cut it down into a section of 3x6. You're going to take 2 of them. Again, double-sided paper is going to work best because you'll be able to mix and match your patterns. And even if it's single-sided, that's fine. Just make sure you have 2 papers that you align one on top of the other before you do your tearing. So that way you can mix and match the patterns, one of the top pattern with one of the bottom pattern. And here are my 2 cards. Here's the second one. See the tear portion? You have your cut apart, a little bit of cardstock border. You have your embellishments. Super cute. So I'm just going to repeat the process with the remaining pattern cards that I have. Like I said, I had 5 sheets, and I ended up, because I was using 12x12s, I ended up with 8 of each of the cards, so 40 total. And what I did was I saved 1 set of each of the card paper, the paper types, to make on camera with you. So I just wanted to show you what it looks like, and you can do these as horizontal cards or vertical cards. You see there where some of them look like I'm doing it kind of sideways. It's because that is actually a vertical card. And then some of them, it didn't matter about the pattern, so I went ahead and just made them some horizontal cards. And one of the things that I love about these cards is that they're so simple, but that they're also flat. So these are going to be great to mail. I believe I will be using these as some donation cards, but these are a great option to do, especially if you want to send out a ton of cute cards for, that are flat that you can send in the mail. These are a fantastic option. And not only does it have the 2 different patterns, so it kind of changes the look of that card, but the torn kind of center really kind of makes adds a layer of dimension to that card without actually bulking it up. It makes it look so much more unique. And then of course, if you add on some additional cut aparts or die cuts, it kind of just also adds. So here's one of the other sets. This is the one that I turned into like little bitty presents with the bow. And you'll see here that I'm just going to finish gluing down the remaining decor items on these cards. And I did use up an entire sheet of those 2x2 cut aparts. I believe it came with 36 total because they're 2x2. I went ahead and I busted out a second sheet, and I took out 4 more so I could have a full 40, because again, I ended up with 40 mini slimline cards just from those 5 sheets of 12x12 paper and 1 and a little bit of the cut apart sheets. So these are going so quick. And again, use up those scraps. I used up my cardstock, my white cardstock scraps from after making all of those card bases. I used those cardstock scraps to back the cut aparts, and you can absolutely do this. You've got so many options here, and you can use any type of die cut. You could use any type of punch out. You could use stickers. If you have stickers, you could also just add some stickers to decorate it off. If you want to add a tag to the front of this, you've got so many options. I absolutely will be making some more cards that are similar like this year because they're so fun for the holidays. They're so fun to make, and they're so easy. They're so super easy. And when you look at it up in person up front, it looks much more complicated than what it actually is. This is actually a very simple card that doesn't take much work. And so it's very doable. But when you look at it in person, you see the tears and the layers of cardstock, and you think that it's much more involved, and it's really not at all. It's super easy, super quick, easy, and super fun as well. And again, the outcome is really cute. So there was my last set. So now I'm going to show you what I'm going to use with these branding strips. So I went ahead and saved them. One of the neat things is that you see here, you have a full section on both sides of the actual pattern paper. So I'm just going to cut them down to 6 inches because I figure that I can use each of the patterns is going to have a full strip just like this. I'll use one from the back, one from the front, and it'll give me a full 6-inch strip of pattern. And then what I'll do is I'm going to go ahead and use them to decorate the inside of the card. So I'm going to find a coordinating strip with a card that matches the front, just like this. And then I'm just going to go ahead and glue it down. So this last step that I'm going to do is just go ahead and finish off these branding strips so that way I don't have any scraps left over. This is always my goal, to not have any scraps left over, because I don't have to actually put anything back in my stash. I'm able to just have the finished products and not have to worry about having these little leftover pieces of paper or leftover cut aparts or leftover paper, you know, anything to have to put back in my stash. So this is just a huge not only is it a good way to bust your stash, but it's also a time saver too, because you don't have to worry about putting something up, storing something, and then finding something later. And I think it adds a ton of extra, just a little bit of extra to the insides of those cards by having that little strip. So I had 40 mini slimline cards. Again, this is the Winter Cottage Collection by Simple Stories. Let me just do a quick preview of all 40 cards. There's 5 different sort of sets of designs. Here's the first one. This is a vertical one. Really cute. This one's more of a blue themed paper. And what I like about double-sided paper is that in most cases, the 2 patterns usually coordinate very well. That's definitely the case on these papers. I love these little bows from In Love Art Shop, and I love that holographic paper. I think it just makes everything pop so much more. And some of these cards you'll notice don't have sentiments on them. That's okay, because you can always stamp a sentiment on the inside or just write a message. You can also add a sentiment later on. You can add like a small little greeting. You can pretty much do anything that you want with these. You could punch a hole and turn it into like a large tag. You've got so many little options. Here is the next option of the cards with the red poinsettias. Love these colors. And again, that holographic paper. I think this set was one of my favorites with the pinks because they're not traditional colors, but I really like the way these pinks and blues went together with the whites and the holographic. I think this last one is my favorite one, the one that I'm going to show you right now at the very end. I think that's my favorite of the whole batch. I just love the way that came together. I love the colors, love it all. And then here is the final set of these cards, mini slimline cards. Again, just using 12 by 12 paper, but you can also use 6 by 6 paper. This is an excellent project to smash your stash. You can smash up those 6 by 6 paper pads with a snap of a finger. So again, 40 mini slimline cards using either 12 by 12 paper or 6 by 6 paper. Thanks for visiting, everyone. Hope you subscribe, like this video, follow me on Instagram, and as always, happy crafting.